Our project is titled on the paper a 64 tile 2.4 MB in memory computing CNN accelerator employing charge domain compute. And the deliverables of our presentation are a 3x3 neuron patch made of MBC, a 6-bit DAC, a sampler, accumulator, software training, and shift register. So the key points of this paper is that it implements an in-memory computing accelerator, which basically instead of moving data back and forth between memory and a processor, which would waste energy and time, this chip does the math right where the data lives. And another key point is the charge domain computing, which uses a MOM capacitor, metal oxide metal capacitor, instead of using electric currents or digital bits. And this helps to make the calculations more accurate, high speed, and energy efficient.
The deep banded CNN. So in this, we basically have the first layer that takes the analog inputs from the RGB sensors, and then it converts it into the binary. And then there is this hidden layer, which basically takes binary inputs and gives binary outputs. So in the hidden layer, the main part is the neuron tile, which basically has a 3x3 MBC array that we tried to model. So the overall architecture consists of these two layers. First layer that takes analog inputs and then it samples them and accumulates them. And the second layer is the hidden layer, which basically takes binary inputs and then gives us the binary output.
Okay, so next we have the software training. So basically, for this, we took the MNIST dataset, which is a collection of 70,000 handwritten digits, and we're putting this through a machine learning algorithm, which will give us the weights. So we got two output files. One was with just the weights. We implemented it for a 3 cross 3 cross 8 cross 8 neuron patch here, and we extracted 576 values. The output file is of the dimensions 8 cross 72, assuming 8 filters. We also needed alpha values, which are used as a reference to determine our binary outputs, and these are also obtained by the software training. So we also got 8 of these alpha values. The collab notebook is linked below. And so these are the results we got. The first image shows you a small snippet of the weights. The next gives you the alpha values. These are the analog alpha values that we put into our first layer. And the last screenshot just kind of shows how we've run this for 5 epochs, and the weights have been saved. So this is next up we have the top level design.
And now we are going to basically explain each of these blocks.
Okay, so this is one of the blocks, that is the multiplying bit cell. And as we had shown this earlier in the mid sem, it is basically the same circuit, but it was not reducing till zero. So we added two inverters to it to drop it down to zero, as well as the sizing was not done, and that is done now. And PMOS is the smallest in this case. And yeah, I think that's it for the multiplying cell. Yeah, the sizing was done, and PMOS is the smallest, and then access transistors, and then NMOS. The PMOS in IA is also 100 nanometer width, and yeah, that was chosen like that. And this just explains the sizing. And this is the
Yeah, this
neuron
is the
patch.
neuron patch we created, and it is a 3 cross 3 neuron patch. So essentially, what happens here is we follow this in 3 phases, and what we have is the inputs are WL, BL bar, and these three are used to write the weight into our MBC. So all the weights are already written inside, they're already stored. Next, we have IA, IAB, T short, and pre. And these are used for the other functions, the other 3 phases. So the first phase is the reset phase, wherein all the capacitors are discharged to ground by activating T short as well as the pre-activation node. Next is the actual multiplication. So here IAs are taken. These are driven according to the values we have, and it's multiplied with the stored weight value, and the XNOR operation happens here. Finally, in the accumulate phase, all the capacitors are shorted together to generate the final PA value.
Yeah, and as you can see, this happens in the simulation. where the first 20 nanoseconds is for the write. So we can see the word line is up and bitline and bitline bar is present. And then it's the reset phase, which ensures key output is zero. And in the third, similarly, it is the XNOR operation. And lastly, we have the accumulation phase, which shows key out has 900 millivolt, because we have taken all of them as
Yeah.
one.
Point 0.9 is VDDs.
Yeah. And this was the neuron patch circuit that we made, and these are the three.
Yeah, these are the three phases. So the first one is the reset phase, the second is the binary multiply, and the third is the accumulate.
Yeah.
Next, we have the DAC.
So the DAC has a start signal, which is the larger pulse, and then after it goes through the NOR gate, it becomes a smaller pulse, which basically starts the series of D flip flops. The way this works is that this is a 6-bit DAC, and we have 6 series of D flip flops. So this is the output for the sequence 110001, and you can see that when a bit goes high, the capacitor charges, and when the bit goes zero, the capacitor discharges, and we get the final analog output value. And this analog output value is then used to compare the pre-activation values in the capacitor. There are two capacitors, the transfer capacitor and the accumulation capacitor, which can be seen here. This is the transfer capacitor and this is the accumulation capacitor. And with each bit value, this transfer capacitor is either charged or discharged, and then this charge is transferred to the final accumulation capacitor. And this capacitor gives the summation of all these charges, which gives the final analog value. And if the bit is 1, here this NOR gate turns on this PMOS. And if the bit is 0, this NAND gate turns off this NMOS. And this NMOS then discharges the capacitor.
So next we have the PMOS NMOS comparator. What this does is basically compares the alpha n value which comes from the DAC and the pre-activation that comes from the MVC array. We have both PMOS comparator and the NMOS comparator. This is because we need rail-to-rail outputs and robust generation. So PMOS comparator basically helps us compare the values which are closer to ground, and NMOS comparator helps us compare the values which are closer to VDD. So these are the widths and lengths that have been chosen. The length is kept constant mostly, that is 30N, and the precharge widths are kept small because they need to be only be in the first clock cycle, and the second clock cycle they go off. The PMOS inverter latch and the NMOS inverter latch for the NMOS comparator is basically given according to the mobility ratio, and in the PMOS comparator it is given same for the same driving strength. The NMOS tail and NMOS input and PMOS input and PMOS tail are basically designed accordingly. This is the NMOS comparator that we have, and this is the simulation of it, where we can clearly see that if the PA value is basically greater than AN, then the VO2 goes up. Now, next is this is because the PA value increases, the NMOS current increases and it pulls down to 0. So the VO2 remains 1, whereas VO1 will go to 0. Next is the PMOS comparator. In the PMOS comparator, if we have PA greater than alpha n, then the VO4 will go to 1. Again, as similar logic to the NMOS comparator. So corner analysis is done on this PMOS NMOS comparator, and we can see basically that the value is remaining stable, but the time taken to achieve the stable value is different. So this is the next block, that is the signed analog accumulator. This is our first layer.
Right. So what we had to figure out here is, firstly, we have the sampler, which consists of the four switches we have above, and we have two here. So one is for when we have a positive weight, and one is for when we have a negative weight, which is why you see two circuits. And below, the VCVS that we have will help us push our value to either a 1 for the plus 1 weight or 0 for a minus 1 weight. So according to that, we've driven the inputs into our switches. And yes, once we are done with the sampling, we then move on to the accumulator. So we have like a different enable for that. And then, yeah, that's driven. So then that's just driven forward, and we compare it with our alpha values.
So this is the simulation of it, where we basically have input 1 and input 2 as 500 and 200 millivolt with the weights as 1, so they are positively sampled, whereas input 3 and input 4 are negatively sampled because their weights are 0. So we can see from the output that after the so first we basically have this alpha n value that is constant at 1 volt. Then we have this comparator plus value which gives us the charge accumulation part. So in this, at the initial, the comp plus is basically 0. But once we see that the positive sampled voltages and negative sampled voltages are basically same here. So the charges between the capacitance cancel out and we achieve a 900 millivolt as comp plus. And after they both are compared, we get a -1 volt because it's a deep binary CNN. So we either get a +1 or a -1. So this is the output final. These are the references. Thank you.